Okay, I'm going to talk to you about Weingarten and the right to union representation. Weingarten is a United States Supreme Court case that involved a gal. She was being investigated and interrogated by store security. They thought that she was stealing. So during these interrogation, she had asked a couple of times for a union rep. In the beginning, in the middle, in the end, and they continuously denied her request for union rep. So throughout the whole thing, they were asking her questions. Ultimately, the store security guy double checked her story and found that she, in fact, wasn't stealing anything, and they let her go. They said, just go back to work, and oh, by the way, keep this to yourself. Well, she didn't. She went right to her union, and they filed an unfair labor practice, which ultimately went all the way to the United States Supreme Court. So, a couple important things came out of this case that are so important for us. The first of it is that a union person has a right to union representation whenever they're being interviewed, if that officer reasonably believes that the interview, the investigation, the interrogation, the questioning, whatever it is, could result in disciplinary action. So this is really the key. That officer has to have a reasonable belief that discipline could come from the interview. Clearly, it doesn't apply if the officer is just getting instruction or if the officer is just getting training. The officer has to demand the union representation. It's not something that's self-executing. The department doesn't have to provide it. The officer has to request the representation. Another important fact is that the officer has a right to select the representative. The department or the employer doesn't have the right to dictate who that's going to be. But remember, within reason, the officer's request for union representation of their choice has to be somebody within reason. You can't request somebody and know that that person's on vacation for a week, or request somebody when you know that that person is a couple hours out. So while the person being investigated has the right to request their representative, that representative has to be within reason. Also important to know that while a union person is entitled to representation, they're not entitled to an attorney. It has to be just a union representative. Now, as far as during the interview goes, the representative is there to assist. The court in Weingarten said that under PARA, the union has a right to assist and assist employees, assist other bargaining unit members. So Weingarten went on to say that the union representative doesn't have to just sit there and say nothing, as some departments want the officers to do. The representative is there to help. They can ask questions, they can clarify things. They're there to be an assistant, so they don't have to completely remain silent the whole time.